I'm Jordan Lulich. This is the Lulich Corner, and this morning I get the pleasure of sitting down with Mayor Joel Tyson from the city of Fellsmere. Today we're going to be talking about Fellsmere, what's going on out there, and also what's planned for the future. So first off, thank you so much for coming in, taking the time and talking about your treasured city. Before we get too in-depth in talking about Fellsmere, why don't you introduce yourself and tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Okay, well, I'm Joel Tyson. I've lived in Fellsmere since 1950. A lot of people ask me if I've lived here all my life, and I tell them, no, not yet. I'm working on it.
Okay.
I was born and raised in Kissimmee.
In Kissimmee?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that's not too far away.
No, but I came over to Fellsmere in 1950 when I graduated from high school, and my mother had to sign for me. I wanted to go in the service, and I made Fellsmere my home of record. So that's been home ever since then.
Since 51.
Since 50.
Since
June of 50. Yeah,
okay.
Long time.
So you've seen a lot of change here since 1950.
Oh, I guess. I remember one time I came over and my brother was supposed to meet me and bring me. I caught the bus into Sebastian, and he was supposed to meet me and take me out to Fellsmere. And there was no one there. And he told me, he said, if there's nobody there to meet you, sometimes I get tied up. He said, go over to the train station and ask for Mr. Pennington, and he'll give you a ride back to Fellsmere. Okay. Mr. Pennington he picked up the mail, and Sebastian brought it out to Fellsmere. He drove about a 1926 cargo truck that had railroad wheels on it. He was on the rail.
Yep.
It's called the Dinky.
Wow.
And I don't know how long it took. He put me in the back of that thing. I couldn't see anything. And we finally got to Fellsmere. But then Broadway was just a bustling little community. We had all kinds of stores, and people were out and about. We probably had around 500 people at that time. So,
500. And today, what, Fellsmere sits with about 5,000?
Yeah, we're around probably 4,600.
Okay.
It used to grow in the wintertime because we got the migrant workers in. They would all come in to harvest the fruit, but the fruit's all gone now. So
right.
So, but about 80% of Fellsmere is Hispanic now.
It's Hispanic.
Those guys have come in, picked the fruit, and they started dating the local girls and married and settled down. So
started a family.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that a lot of people probably don't know is Fellsmere underwent an expansion recently, right? A couple of years ago.
Well, it's been longer than that.
Has it been long geographically?
Oh, yeah. Well, the first big one came when I had just gotten on the council, and that was the Anson property that ran from, actually it was further out, probably to 510. He had bought all that property, and they wanted us to annex them into the state. The reason that they did is because they wanted to develop their property, and it's all zoned agriculture, and the county would not change the zoning laws. So they came to us and asked us if we would annex them. And I think it was 3,820-something acres. And they were planning on building houses out there, and that would have been at the intersection of County Road 512 and I-95.
Yep.
They still have that property, but when they started talking about annexing and building and so forth, the environmentalists got involved, wetlands, the black snake actually, and scrub jays. They were down to about 1,400 acres, so they decided that they're not going to build houses out there.
It wasn't feasible.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
No, when it was that small. But we've annexed the next big annexation was the Sun Ag. They asked us to annex 18,000 acres in because they lost the citrus and they want to develop that land out there.
Okay.
So we took them in. And then the next one, the next big one was the Corrigan property.
Right. That's the most recent one.
The most recent, and that's
and that runs almost all the way to Vero Beach, I believe.
Well,
right?
it goes down to just behind the CVS warehouse there on State Road 6. Yeah, there's a distribution center. And now, and most people don't realize it, when you get on I-95 coming from Vero, there's a sign out there that says Fellsmere City Limits. Well, 10 miles of I-95 goes through Fellsmere now.
Yeah. Wow.
With that annexation.
So it's a lot more land. So current day, I mean, what's in store for Fellsmere? What is the city council planning? What's on the agenda, and what's what are the biggest issue or issues that the city of Fellsmere faces right now?
Okay, that's a good topic. I'm glad you mentioned that. We are planning a development out there called Miriam Estates. Miriam was the daughter of Nelson Feld, who was the founder of Fellsmere, so that's where the name came from.
Okay.
78 acres just to the west of the Fellsmere western city limits. The Joe Paladin is he's the builder. The contractor that's going to build the house is Ryan Holmes.
Yep.
They're planning on putting in 370. They call it workforce affordable housing.
Or townhomes, right?
There's some townhomes.
Some townhomes.
Yeah, but mostly individual.
Okay. 370 is quite a bit.
370, yes.
Okay.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Let's see, we're going to move the fire station off of Broadway down there just by Marsh Landing.
Yep.
Move that out on 512. And there's also, he says there's going to be a supermarket out there, either Publix or Kroger.
Really?
He's talking to.
Okay.
So, and that will be, just the supermarket itself will be big for Fellsmere.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we got in Dollar General out there several years ago. We call that the Fellsmere Mall. That's the biggest thing that's happened to Fellsmere in years. But that housing developed, and it's supposed to be priced as affordable housing at $270,000
for a new home.
Yeah,
it's hard to find a new home nowadays.
It's unbelievable. I bought my house in '96 for $65,000, and that was affordable back then. Yeah,
not anymore.
No.
So, do you anticipate that the people moving into these homes and buying these homes, are they going to be current city residents of the city of Fellsmere?
Well,
or do you think there's going to be a lot of people from Sebastian or Vero moving out there?
Well, there are a lot of our young people over the last 20 years that married and they wanted homes. So the only thing that was available then was in Vero Lake Estates.
Right.
But people are unhappy out there because they don't get any of the services that the city does.
Right.
So what they're really, according to our city clerk, Maria, she says that all of these young families out there, they're looking forward to this housing development going in because they all want to move back to Fellsmere.
Okay.
So they can put their houses at Vero Lake Estates on the market, and these people coming down from up north, hopefully they'll buy out there instead of coming in and taking over Fellsmere.
Okay. So you think you're going to have people moving back, or people from out of town moving into this development?
Right, that'll move in out there.
So do you anticipate, from the county level, there's been a large conversation about affordable housing, and with the current economy and inflation and interest rates and just the price of eggs nowadays, it's put a lot of strain on people as far as, just being able to survive. And so when you look at rents, when you look at house prices, it just prices a lot of people out. And so the county has really, they're really trying to be a catalyst for more affordable housing projects. Right. Do you think that the way that the zoning laws are out in Fellsmere and just the raw land available out in Fellsmere, do you think that Fellsmere is going to see more projects like this one that you're talking about in the next 5 years?
Yes. Yeah. The Corrigans had a potential buyer on the west side of I-95 in their pasture land out there. And we were looking forward to that. That was going to be like 5,000 homes or something like that. Yeah, and that I understand that deal fell through, but they're still marketing that land out there. So it's going to happen. Yeah,
but I mean, if 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 homes go in out there, how will Fellsmere have the infrastructure to support that many homes?
Well, that's the other thing. Right now, that a lot of that land is not in the city. Okay, but we have about, just over 4,000 people living in the city.
Yep.
But we've got another 12 to 15,000 people that live around Fellsmere that most people are not aware of, and in the 5 and 10 acre, they call them ranchettes.
Yeah, sure.
Where that impacts Fellsmere is the County Road 512, in and out.
Yeah.
From about probably from 3:30 to 6:30 in the afternoon, you can't get into Fellsmere.
Really? It's bumper to bumper?
It backs up, yes, all the way to I-95. In the morning, from about 6:30 in the morning to about 8:30, you can't get out of Fellsmere.
Wow.
And that's creating a problem.
And you're talking about the 78-acre development, and you're talking about other developments going in. So the infrastructure, I mean, the infrastructure is going to need to be expanded.
But we're talking about that. That was my first question to Joe Paladin when he started talking about this project. I said, what are you going to do about the traffic?
Yeah.
Well, he has a plan, and he said when he sells, there's the impact fee that goes with each one of those properties.
Yeah, sure.
He said when he sells the first 100 of those houses he sells, he's took that impact fee from that and start talking about widening County Road 512 from I-95 into Fellsmere.
Okay.
So we have a plan.
Okay.
Hopefully. And of course, we're also talking about with those 375 houses, that would be like a 5-year build out. It's not going to
happen overnight.
No, it's not going to pop out of the ground overnight. So.
Yeah. So it gives you time for expansion and for some growth as well.
But one of the problems that we're having now, we have people coming to the city council meeting complaining about the growth. You people, we came to Fellsmere because we like the little country atmosphere and we don't want to see it grow.
Yeah.
Well, downtown Fellsmere won't grow because when I first got on council back in the 90s, we developed Community Redevelopment Agency. We established that.
Yeah.
And we set up the CRA district for downtown Fellsmere and also for County Road 512 that goes through the middle of Fellsmere. So that's zoned Old Town.
Okay.
Nobody can come in and build a high-rise or glass front office building. They have to conform with the ambiance of what is already there.
Yeah.
So we'll keep the atmosphere.
Got to keep the unique charm of it. But whether we want it or not, Joel, people are coming here.
I know that.
Yeah.
But these people, they come to the city council meetings and complaining, you all got to stop growing. You can't do this.
You can't tell people not to go. You can't close the city limits.
But then you try to tell these people, well, you're not a resident of Fellsmere. And they'll say, well, excuse me, the last time I got a letter, it had Fellsmere, Florida on there.
Yeah. I
said, yeah, but you are not a city resident.
Right. Just like Vero Beach or Sebastian or same.
And then I say, well, you don't pay taxes. Every time I go to the gas station down there and buy gas, I pay taxes. You don't pay property taxes. So those are some of the things that it's an issue.
Yeah.
And one of the things, we had a 14-inch rain out there about 2 months ago in about 9 hours.
Wow.
We were having a city
14
council.
inches.
Yes, 14 inches. It flooded the city.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I mean, everywhere.
Yeah.
And somebody called Channel 5 about it down in Palm Beach. Well, I came home from that meeting and we were talking about it and discussing, the stormwater issue. And I turned the TV on to the news and the guy said the people in Fellsmere are upset because their property, their pastures are flooded and the city's not doing anything about it. Okay.
What a twist on that, right?
I know. I wanted to throw something through the TV set.
I'm sure you did. Well, there's a lot of exciting things, Joel, and we are wrapping. We got to wrap things up now. If people are interested in maybe expressing their opinion or if they wanted to give you input or feedback, how can people find you?
Well, I used to have a phone book when I first got elected. The mayor told me the first thing I need to do is get an unlisted phone number. And I said, no, I don't think so. I've got that same number.
Okay.
They can call City Hall and call City Clerk, and she'll call me and give me their phone number. She won't give them my phone number.
Sure.
But she'll call, and I call back. I call everybody that has a problem.
Well, I appreciate you coming on today. That's all the time we have for today with Mayor Joel Tyson. I'm Jordan Lulich. This is the Lulich Corner, and we'll see you next time.